Well, it is definitely not over yet. Johnny Depp is appealing the $2 million verdict against him for Amber Heard. Why he absolutely had to do that. He did not have a choice. Amber Heard was appealing the judgment against her for $10,350,000.
Just when we thought that the whole Depp-Heard saga is behind us, it seems that this legal battle is far from over. Recently, Amber Heard has caused an online uproar by making her desires for an appeal known. Many legal experts have also given their 2 cents as to how an appeal may go for Amber Heard. So what are the experts saying? Will this appeal be worth it for Amber? Legal experts have been divided on what Heard's team will do if they plan to appeal the case. The jury seemed to find Depp's story more credible than Heard's, and experts agreed that appellate courts tend to be reluctant to reassess credibility judgments made by juries, even if this jury's conclusions seem contradictory. Some of these experts include number 7, Lee Berlick. Virginia defamation lawyer Lee Berlick told the New York Post that both the parties will have to return to court soon to put the jury's verdict into a judgment before Heard can file an appeal. Number 6, Mark Litwack. Similarly, the founder of Mark Litwack and Associates, Mark Litwack, told Newsweek that Heard would have to prove that the judge made a serious error and made the trial unfair to her as part of any possible appeal. He also clarified that an appellate court does not review the credibility of the witnesses or any facts mentioned during the trial and does not second-guess the jury's determination as to which testimony is credible or not. It only reviews the judge's actions and rulings during the case. Therefore, overturning the decision and ordering a new trial is only possible if the appellate court finds the judge improperly excluded evidence that affected the outcome of the case. Number 5, Jeff Lewis. Los Angeles-based defamation and appellate lawyer Jeff Lewis told NBC News that Amber Heard's successful appeal is a long shot, as appeals are usually hard to win. It's absolutely a long shot. Anywhere between 70 to 90% of all appeals result in no change in the judgment, the lawyer noted. Number 4, Danny Cevallos. NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos also said that the team would face some really long odds if they decided to appeal based on the overall negative response against the actress during the trial and if the jury was affected by the same. You're going to need to show that a juror was actually affected by it and it affected their deliberations or the verdict, he added. Number 3, David Ring. David Ring, a Los Angeles civil trial lawyer, and other experts estimated the appeal would take 2 years minimum. Several attorneys who spoke with Time magazine speculated it will cost Heard hundreds of thousands of dollars in addition to the likely millions she's already spent in legal fees. But when you're facing a $15 million judgment, Ring noted, you certainly have to probably pursue that. Before the appeals process even begins, experts say it's likely that Heard or her insurance company will have to put up some sort of bond that shows she has or can raise the money that she owes Depp. However, according to experts, there are a number of arguments Heard's team could make. Her attorney Elaine Bredehoff made comments after the trial that would seem to suggest that she will focus on evidence. She has suggested that some pieces of evidence Depp was able to introduce were prejudicial, while certain evidence from Heard's team was suppressed at trial, including evidence that was permitted in the UK trial but not in the US one. This trial judge let in a lot of evidence in this case. I mean a lot, says David Ring. I think things went kind of far afield from what the real issues were. So that's the basis for an appeal, though not necessarily a great basis for appeal. He added that evidentiary rulings are rarely the basis used by an appellate court to overturn a jury verdict. Number 2, Rebecca Sullivan. The Washington, D.C. attorney who focuses on family law says that appeals are never easy. Anyone appealing has an uphill battle, Rebecca Sullivan said. Given that Heard and her lawyers have said this trial has been a financial burden for the actor, Heard's ability to post the bond is not guaranteed. Still, if she does proceed, her team may have a better chance in front of an appeals court than the jury of 5 men and 2 women who awarded Depp damages. The trial was televised live, jurors were not sequestered, and videos and memes of Depp and Heard on the witness stand, including overwhelmingly pro-Depp commentary, were inescapable on social media platforms like TikTok. I would expect the appellate portion of the case, where the audience is judges, to focus more on legal arguments and a lot less on the theatrics that we saw in the trial, where the audience was a jury, Rebecca Sullivan added. Number 1, Marianne Franks. Marianne Franks, a professor at University of Miami School of Law who focuses on civil rights, says that Heard's team might challenged the judge's decision to allow the trial to be live-streamed, a particularly unusual decision given that the case involved allegations of sexual abuse and domestic violence, as well as the judge's decision not to sequester the jury, which resulted in a trial by social media. Rebecca Sullivan agreed with this, saying, "I actually think that's a pretty good argument. What was so extraordinary about this trial is the social media and news coverage of it, kind of a circus of public opinion. With this case, you have your jury going home. Their families have certainly been following this. They see the TikToks and the tweets, and the unsequestered jury is being exposed to things that were not admissible in the trial. So to the extent that Heard's lawyers can argue they were influenced by outside factors that weren't admitted in trial, that has a pretty high likelihood of success in my opinion." However, David Ring believes that argument would be a loser on appeal because he says the idea of sequestering juries has fallen out of favor in modern courtrooms. "It's just not realistic to sequester juries for 6 weeks without their phones anymore," he said. Heard's team can, however, interview the jurors from the trial about why they ruled the way that they did. If they interviewed them and the jurors say, "We follow TMZ every night," okay, now you've got a basis for appeal. But I don't think anyone's going to admit to that if it happened, Ring added. Many legal commentators have questioned whether Heard's 2018 op-ed actually rises to the level of defamation, considering the specific words in the piece. Given that the op-ed never mentions Depp's name and is largely devoted to the broader topic of the challenges facing women who speak out against abuse, it strains credulity to argue that the op-ed harmed Depp in any meaningful way, says Franks, and especially in any way related to his career, which was already struggling due to well-documented behavioral issues. In fact, Franks points out, Heard did not write the headline for the piece, one of the statements at issue. She merely retweeted it. Sullivan also thought Heard's team could focus on the headline when they appeal. She added that it's possible Heard's lawyers could leave open the option to take the case to the Supreme Court by focusing on this First Amendment issue. They will be sure to include a First Amendment claim if they want to take this all the way, she said. As for fans, they are not thrilled with this issue of Heard getting an appeal. Several individuals took to Twitter to hit out at Heard following the announcement of the appeal, with one user going as far as suggesting she deserves jail time. Now, if Amber Heard can afford an appeal, even minus the bond, why couldn't she afford to pay the charities? Is her insurance still paying despite the malice aspect? And why, if she just wanted to move on, is she the one not moving on? Many questions here, one user wrote. Amber Heard deserves jail time for perjury. She lies about everything and stiffed the sick and dying kids at the LA Children's Hospital, but has money from insurance to pay for her appeal? What's more important? Commented another. Jury awards Johnny Depp $10.35 million in damages. An insurance company is suing to be absolved of over $8 million in legal fees due to willful misconduct. Today, an appeal was filed, which could take up to a year or more to conclude. So where is Amber Heard getting the money for all this? A third Depp fan commented online. But now we would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts about Amber's decision to appeal? Do you think she will win? Let us know in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.